Welcome to this explainer. Look, if you're a focused learner wanting a fast-paced, completely no-fluff guide to the 2026 World Cup, well, you're in exactly the right place. We are talking about a totally monumental, historic tournament here. 104 matches, 48 teams. By the time we wrap this up, you'll know the landscape of this entire competition, who the real threats are, who the underdogs are, and the brilliant stories you absolutely need to watch out for.
Okay, let's dive right into this. 48. For the first time in history, the World Cup has expanded to 48 nations. I mean, that's just a staggering scale. It means more matches, more of those classic Cinderella stories, and honestly, a whole lot of teams that casual fans probably haven't even heard of. In fact, 4 of these nations, they're stepping onto this massive stage for the very first time.
And they're going to be playing across a footprint we've literally never seen before. 3 host nations, the USA, Canada, and Mexico, are splitting the hosting duties, basically turning all of North America into the absolute epicenter of world football for an entire month.
But here's the real anchor to all of this. Despite this huge expansion, the crazy miles of travel, and the brand new format, there is still only one trophy on the line. Just one piece of gold that's going to change the life of an entire nation. So how do these 48 teams actually stack up? Let's break down the groups.
Starting right at the top, we've got Group A. Host nation Mexico is kicking off the whole shebang at the historic, legendary Estadio Azteca. They're the overwhelming favorites here, and they'll be welcoming back South Africa, who actually are making their first return since they hosted the whole thing back in 2010. But for Mexico, man, it's not just about getting out of the group.
It is entirely about breaking this massive psychological wall, quinto partido, the 5th match. Mexico has been knocked out in the round of 16 at literally every single World Cup since 1994. It's this defining piece of Mexican football lore at this point. But with their star striker Raúl Jiménez and an absolutely ferocious, roaring home crowd behind them, they are desperate to finally shatter that curse.
The host narrative keeps rolling in Group B with Canada. Their wait is finally over. 40 years. 40 years they've waited to get back here. And they're bringing the absolute lightning speed of Alphonso Davies and Jonathan David up front. They're joined by Bosnia and Herzegovina, who snagged a spot through the UEFA playoffs by pulling off a massive qualifying upset over Italy, along with Qatar and a super organized Switzerland squad. Now, Group C perfectly illustrates the sheer magic of the World Cup, right? It's this beautiful mix of absolute football royalty and true underdogs. You've got Brazil, the most successful nation in the history of the sport, chasing their 6th star with the electric, unpredictable Vinicius Jr. But look right across from them, Haiti. They're making an unbelievable return after 52 years. Just think about that gap. It tells you everything about how momentous this is for them. You've also got Morocco, who totally shocked everyone by making the semis back in 2022, and Scotland bringing their passionate tartan army.
The spotlight shifts back to North American soil for Group D. And wow, the USA made an incredible opening statement. Backed by 100,000 fans at SoFi Stadium in LA, Christian Pulisic led the Americans to a dominant 4-1 opening win over Paraguay. They're sharing this group with a tough Australian side that always punches above its weight, plus a really dangerous, technically gifted Turkey.
Then the European heavyweights enter the fray. Germany is back in Group E. And after that catastrophic exit in 2022, they opened this tournament with an absolutely brutal, efficient 7-1 statement win against Curaçao. And talk about an unbelievable contrast in scale. Curaçao is an island nation of just 156,000 people. That's it. They are the smallest nation by population to ever reach a World Cup. Just a miraculous story. They share this group with the physically imposing Côte d'Ivoire and a highly unpredictable Ecuador.
Speaking of European powerhouses, Group F promises absolute fireworks. We've already seen sparks fly here with a spectacular 2-2 opening draw between the super explosive Dutch attack and the tactically brilliant Japanese side. Japan is proving yet again that they can easily go toe-to-toe with Europe's elite. It makes this one of the most exciting groups to watch for sure, and it's rounded out by Sweden and Tunisia.
For Belgium in Group G, the narrative is pretty straightforward. They are the undisputed heavyweights here. Even if they're maybe slightly past their absolute peak golden generation, the pure world-class talent of Kevin De Bruyne serving up chances for Romelu Lukaku, yeah, that makes them clear favorites. They're up against a returning Egyptian side and a notoriously stubborn Iranian defense, with New Zealand looking to, just completely disrupt the balance.
The drama really ratchets up with Group H. Reigning European champion Spain arrived led by absolute sensation 16-year-old Lamine Yamal. But get this, They suffered a huge shock right out of the gate with a 0-0 draw against Cape Verde. Cape Verde is playing this intoxicating, direct style that fans are just falling in love with, and hovering in the background of this group, Uruguay. Led by Federico Valverde, they are lurking as this snarling, incredibly dangerous dark horse right alongside Saudi Arabia.
Okay, stop. Right here, let's just take a breath, because everything we just talked about, it steps up to a whole new level now. This is the group of death.
Welcome to Group I. France, Senegal, Norway, Iraq. Listen, 3 of these 4 teams are ranked inside the world's top 30. France are the 2018 world champions. Senegal are the African Cup of Nations champions. This is a pure, unadulterated battleground. Whoever survives this group is going to emerge totally battle-hardened and ready to take on absolutely anyone in the knockout stages.
Just think about the sheer absurdity of the individual matchups here. You have France's Kylian Mbappe, who is arguably the best player in the world, in the exact same group as Norway's Erling Haaland, literally the most lethal striker on the planet. I mean, pitting these 2 generational attackers against each other in the early group stages, that shouldn't even be possible, but here we are. It is a football fan's absolute dream.
But the biggest individual storyline of the whole tournament lives over in Group J. For defending champions Argentina, this group, and actually this entire tournament, is framed entirely around Lionel Messi. This is his highly anticipated and almost certainly final World Cup dance. Every single time he steps onto the pitch, it could literally be the last time we ever see him on this grandest stage, as they face off against Algeria, Austria, and Jordan.
And we're seeing a really similar legendary farewell in Group K. Cristiano Ronaldo, at 41 years old, is making his final stand for a loaded Portugal squad that has just incredible depth. But contrast his massive legacy with Uzbekistan. They're making their historic World Cup debut, representing Central Asia on the global stage for the very first time. They're joined by a super dangerous attacking Colombian side, and DR Congo making a historic return of their own.
Rounding out the field is Group L. England arrives carrying the immense weight of 60 years of hurt, bringing what is probably their most talented squad in history. And they're facing off against Croatia, where the legendary Luka Modric is also playing in his final tournament, alongside Ghana and Panama. It's a group that is just dripping with history, talent, and honestly, immense pressure.
So the crucial point is, when we zoom out to the macro level, who can actually win this thing? Well, it's the heavyweights. France, Argentina, Brazil, Spain, England, Germany, Portugal. These are the 7 former champions in the mix. They all possess genuine title ambitions, and on their best day, absolutely have the firepower to lift that trophy.
But do not count out the giant killers. We've got a loaded tier of dark horses and underdogs who are totally capable of incredible moments. You'll want to pay special attention to Jordan, Uzbekistan, Cape Verde, and Curacao. Those are the 4 true debutantes realizing literally decades-long dreams. They're the ones who remind us why this expanded format is just so incredibly magical. And speaking of the expanded format, here's what you really need to understand about the stakes this time around. Because of the 48-team structure, the 8 best third-place teams will now advance to a brand new round of 32. Basically, it provides a second chance. It guarantees way more drama, super complex math on the final group stage match days, and honestly, more unpredictability than we've ever seen in the history of the tournament.
Which leaves us with one final provocative thought. You know the teams. You know the layout. But which group is genuinely terrifying? Understanding how these matchups are going to play out and the true difficulty of each path is the real key to understanding this 2026 World Cup. So, what do you think? Let's dive deeper and definitively crown the hardest path to the trophy.